I'm joined by Head of Projects at News at 360, Justin Lees. Justin, congratulations on this initiative. It's
Thanks, Jen.
Absolutely unique and extraordinary. Tell us about how it works, first of all.
Well, the idea of using 360 vision and VR, which can be quite scary in techie words, they're not at all. It's just to place someone in the location of the story. So you can use your mobile phone or a tablet or one of those headsets if you happen to have one. And we use 360-degree cameras so that when you're watching it on your phone or your tablet, you move it around and it's like a magic window. If you look up, you see the sky. If you look behind you, you see the cliff behind you. It just puts you fully in the location, and it's totally immersive and engaging.
I downloaded it on my phone, and yes, it's absolutely engaging, as you said. And it's, yeah, you just move it around and then you press the button, and you really do feel like you're there, don't you? In terms of the filming, talk us through that, and how long actually did it take to film, and then you used some original pictures as well and then edit it. What was the process behind all of that?
Well, what we do is first we go and we plot the film out. We decide the story we want to tell, and of course in these cases it's these two horrific incidents from the Second World War, which people may have heard the names, but they're not really aware of what happened or what it was like to be there or who the people were. So we plot out the story, then we go on location for about a week in each place, using drones, using on-ground footage to get that encapsulating area I present to camera, and then we go and stitch in graphics, period vision, interviews with survivors, that sort of thing, in the editing process afterwards.
Yeah, we're seeing that on screen now. It's just extraordinary, the vision that you've got there, and mixing it with the photos as well. And Anzac 360 has also, Justin, been endorsed by Prime Minister Scott Morrison, also Dr. Brendan Nelson, the director of the Australian War Memorial too. That's
right, yeah. They've been fully supportive. And I think what they'd like to do is, well, certainly Scott Morrison would love to see it in schools, because it is, I mean, it's for anyone that's interested in the Anzac story, which appears to be every Australian, but particularly for schools, because it's not going to go away. Kids are always looking for new, engaging ways to learn history, and this is perfect.
It is a great initiative to bring it into schools, absolutely. Now, in terms of some of the feedback from veterans, what has that been like?
It's been touching. It's been a real privilege to work with men like Jim Kerr or Billy Young in Tasmania. They've been remarkable. First of all, I'd like to commend them, because they've actually looked at these films, and it's not an exaggeration to say that when you look at these films, it takes you to that place, and that place for people like Jim Kerr, who was on the death railway, was hell. Yeah. He strapped on those VR, the Oculus goggles, and he went back there and he watched and reviewed the whole thing, and his words afterwards were, everyone should see this.
Wow.
So they know that what happened really happened.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, isn't it? And a lot of people are reaching out to him as well, aren't they?
That's right, yes. We've had people write to us on behalf of other veterans, saying that they were in Thailand or Burma and that they'd love to get in contact with him, granddaughters, daughters. And then, of course, at Anzac Live, which is our companion Facebook site, we've had scores, if not hundreds of people sharing their family stories. And my great uncle was there, my grandfather was there, sending us photos. It's extraordinary. These experiences touched so many Australians, and you don't really know that until you start scratching away, and then all these stories come out.
Wow. And when you talk about the stories, I mean, obviously we see a lot of the photos. What was it like in terms of their writing? Did they write detailed stories about their lives?
Well, yes. In the Second World War films we've just done, Sandakan and Hellfire Pass, the most vivid written evidence that comes out are these pictures that prisoners of war, particularly on the Thai-Burma Railway, did. They risked their lives to do these sketches that if the Japanese guards had found, they'd have executed them. We've also done some Anzac 360 films on the First World War, and those were the ones where we really found the writing spring to life, because 100 years ago they didn't have Facebook, they didn't have social media, so men and women were keeping these journals and diaries and writing letters home to loved ones. And that was what started us on this project, really. We would read these journals and letters and realise these people were so engaging. Sounds stupid, doesn't it? But you look at black and white pictures and it can sometimes seem quite removed. Not at all. They were you, they were me, they were everybody. The same hopes, fears, dreams, jokes. And they were what made these people so captivating to us. We wanted to make them captivating to everybody.
So we can see that on Facebook Live?
Absolutely. If you go to Anzac Live on Facebook, you can, we do a little post every day, and we've also had these splinter Facebook accounts that belong to characters from World War I, quite familiar names to people familiar with Australian history, like Archie Barwick and John Monash and Alice Ross King, the nurse.
Fantastic. So the app, it really is easy to download. I've done it, so if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Same.
So talk us through, because you can either watch it on your phone, on your iPad, but the goggles as well. So talk us through these. So these look pretty
cool. So these are Oculus goggles. There's a nice plug for Oculus. But there's all sorts of different headsets. Some are more expensive, some are cheaper. One of the greatest things to do if you want to experiment with headsets, this is going to sound like a real geek, is get Google Cardboard. You can get them online for about 25 bucks, and it's a cardboard one of these that you can pop your phone in, and it gives you that experience. Your phone can change to its settings to sort of adapt to the Google Cardboard, and then you just pop it on and you look around. And as you may have seen from the Jim Kerr interview, it's great because you get no interference with a headset. You're completely in the place, completely up, down, around. But it's great on a phone or a tablet too, and a lot of people prefer that because it's slightly less enclosed.
Sure.
And especially on a tablet. And again, going back to the schools thing, more and more schools have the bring your own device policy, which when I first heard of, I thought was bring your own drinks. But and so many kids have tablets. My son is going to school next year where they're all going to have a tablet in the class, and it's great. These films are from 3 minutes to 7 minutes long. If a history teacher wants to say to the kids, right, we're studying the Somme or World War I, we're going to go to Pozières now. For 3 minutes, they can all look around and see it instead of all staring at one video.
And it's better in terms of education as well, rather than just reading a book, having that whole experience. It's much easier to absorb.
Well, I hope so. And you can use different, you can use the period vision or the, the little voice grabs or the graphics to show where soldiers moved. I just think it's more fun, if it's not disrespectful to say so. It makes it more fun.
Yeah. What's next for you in terms of next projects?
Well, this is a partnership with the Australian government and the Department of Veterans Affairs in particular. And so next year we're going to go to Singapore to do a story about the fall of Singapore, which was what led to the capture of so many men like Jim and their eventual send-off to places like Hellfire Pass, then Kokoda. And after that, hopefully Gallipoli, because what we're trying to do is tell the unknown stories, but of course also we want to visit those iconic places where the Anzac legend really was born and then forged.
Justin Lees, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the show this morning, and well done. It's just extraordinary what you're doing, and I wish you all the best for the next adventures.
Many thanks, Janie.
All right.